Trip After Party on the Power Trip Podcast Network.
Hey-o! Power Trip After Party. I'm Corey Cove. There's Zach Halverson. There's Paul Meat Sauce Lambert.
Hi,
Marnie
Corey.
Gellner should be walking back in a
Sorry, I
second
took
or
one of
two.
your masks. Do you want it back?
No.
Yeah,
you've had it in your pocket. You've had it on your face.
Yeah, it doesn't fit my face. My fucking face
Even
is
if I
too
wanted
fat.
it back, you put it all over your face. If I'm going to wear the mask, that would completely defeat the purpose of shielding myself from other people.
Where'd you get those?
My wife got them at Target, yeah.
Oh.
I ran into your brother at Target yesterday.
How was that?
Well, I mean, I fucking hate him, so that was annoying because I had to small talk with him for 4 minutes and act like I cared what he was saying.
How many times did he...
I'm going to run a marathon.
How many times did he bring up
care.
ICP?
Zero, but he was like, yeah, I'm pretty much just running virtual triathlons and I'm really fast and I work out. I'm like, I got to go, dude. I
don't care.
Other people I actually care about that I need to tend
Arthur
to.
once brilliantly said, I'd rather talk to the trees.
I would rather talk to the trees. I kept doing like the inch closer to my car thing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, take a hint. I'm trying to leave.
Yeah.
And your brother's, I'd like to talk about more stuff. You want to hear about my job? I don't care about your job.
Yeah, I don't care about
I hope
Best
you get
Buy.
fired.
I love
Worthless.
virtual triathlons. Do you know what these are?
No.
No, he did
So
one.
what you do is you sign up on the website, you pay them like whatever the money would be for just like an actual marathon
You're
or
paying for
triathlon.
the T-shirt.
They send you a T-shirt and your little medal that you normally get there, and then you just enter in the time and you go do it on your own. So you're like paying to do a marathon, which is basically you're paying for a T-shirt for like upwards of 150, 200, whatever it is, for a T-shirt and a medal, and you do your own damn
But
marathon.
my guess is if you've trained for a triathlon, you are motivated to complete it just for pride, right?
Yeah,
and
I
that
get it.
shirt,
It's
that
not
shirt
you and
is
I,
your
Zach.
own.
You and I are
I get it.
signing
I
know
up
what you
for
mean. It's
virtual
ridiculous.
triathlon.
You're
I know it's
spending
ridiculous, but
hundreds of dollars
Right, totally agree.
for a T-shirt.
Just to say that you did it.
Yeah, but it's a
You
huge.
can-
It's like the cabinets at Marnie's house. It's a giant sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, and congrats. Go out there and do it. You
And
can.
all of us. The three of us, four of us couldn't do it.
No, I get it, and that's awesome.
Especially
I'm not.
me.
I'm not knocking the idea of doing it. I'm mocking the idea of giving
Well, yeah.
money to
To
you-
run.
You can put
I get
on
it.
your Facebook, and by God, please do. It's not douchey or anything. Go on there, and be like, "Fuck! I ran a marathon today, and I got a time of this, this, and this," and then everybody can be like, "Oh my God, we're so proud of you, Sonny!" And it's like, that's
Sonny,
cool.
how many old people follow you on
Sonny.
Facebook?
Give me $20. I'll make you a T-shirt, and I'll give you a fucking medal with a Yo Play cover.
God, you are
and-
very passionate about virtual triathlons.
What's your problem?
It's a
Have
solid
any
hot
of
take.
you had a desire to run a marathon?
No.
'Cause I
No.
do not.
No.
I
Nope.
have not, and I
No.
don't get it in people who are just like, well, I just want to do one to say I did it, or I just want to do one to train it. I've never even had an ounce of that thought.
Yeah, my brother does them. Obviously, that's who we're making fun of, and making fun of my brother is very fun. But my brother did it. I don't know, just to see if he could do it. And it's like anything else. Once
He
you get
did
into
it just to see if
yeah,
he
and now
could
he does them all
do
the
it.
time. He does them all the time
Because he liked it so
yeah,
much?
he loves it. Yeah, I mean, I think he's ran 4 or 5, maybe more. But he is triathlon training because he was going to do one, I think, in Oregon, but it got canceled because of COVID. But he, the other day, here, I'll find it. No one cares, but I'll find it. He did 40K on his bike, which is 25 miles. He started with like a run of like 4 or 5K, 40K on his bike, and then finished with a 10K.
Because he just likes to challenge himself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
see, I don't.
And he burned 2,500 calories, so then he eats whatever he wants.
Well, now that part I like.
Yeah.
But I
that's-
don't
yeah.
identify with that.
No, I can't.
Just challenge myself, just
Yeah.
prove to myself.
Yeah.
There's a really good movie that I saw. I really enjoyed. It's called Brittany Runs a Marathon. It was like an indie, or did well at Sundance or whatever. It is the cutest, and it's about this girl named Brittany, and guess what? She runs a marathon.
Got it.
But it's about
Right
her
in the
journey,
title.
and she's a chubby gal, and she's very funny. I'll give it to you as a recommendation.
Anybody famous or noteworthy
Nope.
in it?
Nope.
Just a bunch of randoms.
Yep.
But it's well acted and it's worth
really
your
well,
time.
yeah, and it's funny.
Interesting.
Yep. Brittany runs a marathon.
Hey, can we go back to your husband dating the two-guard? I have a couple questions.
No.
So, Are you the kind of person, Matt? Right?
Yep.
Before you met Matt, like, did you care about his history? Like, did that bother you? And the fact that you met him while he was with somebody else, like, have you always been the kind of person that is curious about the person's dating history? Yes or no?
Yes. Not obsessed.
Right. But you at least want want the bullet points.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know if they've been with 9,000 people or had a 10-year relationship or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Really. So how long were they still together after you met?
We didn't start dating. So that was 98. Mm-hmm. Spring of 98. We didn't start dating until 5 years after that.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
So you just knew each other and then you crossed
to do the
paths
math.
later, or what happened? How'd you guys reconnect?
We saw each other on New Year's Eve at The Drink in downtown Minneapolis.
Yep.
And he was with a bunch of football players that he'd lived with. Remember his roommates we talked about from old school at UND. And they were all together. And I was like, hey, I recognize you from Pine Bluff.
Jeez.
Then that's when and then he was single. That relationship was long over. But the thing is that
you hadn't seen him in 5 years. That was a one time.
Yeah, I hadn't.
Wow,
I don't think.
crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't. Maybe it wasn't 5, 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 3, 4.
Still.
But I knew that the girl that he dated. I mean, she's a very nice person. There's no ill will. It's just how you feel about any ex of your husband or your wife. It's just,
Yep.
you know how that goes. It's just hard to.
Yeah.
It's just yucky to think about.
Yeah.
For some people.
Comments, thoughts, opinions.
Well, no, I mean, what happened to me is well documented, but I've run into Fallon and her new husband. It's not. He didn't do anything. It's not weird. I've shook his hand. I've talked to him.
Right.
It's not weird. He didn't do anything. He's an innocent bystander. He didn't do anything.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He's a nice guy. He really is. I saw him at Crispin Green 2 months ago. They were both there. Yeah, he's nice. I mean, he's not gonna play in my fantasy football league, but yeah, he's a nice guy. There's nothing awkward about it.
And again, my situation, Bailey's dad. I started dating Angie when Bailey was 4, so I've known Bailey's dad for 10 years. He's a good dude, right? But I don't dive into the rest of my wife's past. I don't want to know.
You don't want to know anything,
I just know the surface stuff. I know the kind of dater she was, but she was with Bailey's dad for 7 years. So she's basically had one long-term relationship. She had about 9 months of being single, where she dated a couple of different dudes, and then it was on to me, and that's it.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot to know, really.
What does she want to know about your dating history?
She doesn't know much about mine.
Doesn't want to?
And Sauce can back me up on this. Almost no one does. Because I was single for almost 8.5, almost 9 years. And I never told Hawk or Superstar Mike Morris back in the day if I was seeing a gal, hanging out with a gal. I kept my mouth shut for almost 8 months.
I've walked into that
8
trap.
years. I learned real early on. Even Angie. I was dating her for almost 3 months before anybody knew. Because I'm like, I'm not letting this out. Which is dumb because that is good radio.
Yeah.
But
it's good radio at your personal
expense.
But
that's the thing is I'm like, I want this one established before I have a chance to screw it up by bringing it on the air. So I kept my mouth shut for almost 3 months. I think if I had been like, dating this chick, yep, it's going well, it's 2 weeks in, it would have been better radio because they would have just hammered me.
Yeah.
They would have questioned everything about her. I'm sure they would have wanted her on the show. Like, what are you doing dating this idiot? But that's a hard little radio trick because it is good entertainment, but...
Yeah,
that's
I didn't want to risk
anything
it.
in your personal life.
Yeah.
Didn't want to risk it though.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. She only knows of a couple of gals that I spent time with at all in that 8-year window.
Really, nothing good can come out of.
Correct.
Let's go through the details.
That's why I never have. Yep.
If you've both dated other people, as most people have, by the time you get married. I mean, I was 34. No, 2 when I. No, 33 when I got married. 33 when I got married. No, fuck. 32. Yeah. But still in my 30s. That means I had dated for a while. So
sick brag.
No, I've basically given my wife Angie the bullet points. And
yeah, that's fine.
And the bullet points are, I basically said I had one gal that I was obsessed with in my 20s that I felt like I didn't get a fair shot with, right? It was one of those like, man, I wish you would have just given me one true chance. And then I have a gal that I didn't give a fair shot to. And some of those two gals overlapped a little bit, where I was in the middle of. She wasn't giving me a fair chance. I wasn't giving the other one a fair chance.
Yeah.
And all three of us never ended up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't work out. So she knows those stories. But what's funny about that, and I just think this is just human nature. So it's two gals, and she knows I spent time with both. The one that, of course, she is a little uncomfortable with is the one that I was obsessed with. So if I ever bring up the other one, I was like, yeah, she was a sweet gal. It was just the wrong time in my life. Otherwise, she's awesome. Like, Angie's very not threatened by that one at all. Because
you didn't like
her.
Right,
because I didn't.
You weren't into her.
But I've even told Angie going back, I'm like, that's the one I should have given a chance to because she was everything that I was looking for. I just had my eyes set on somebody else. So that's my one regret. But like I've always said, and we talk about this all the time on the Power Trip, I'm a huge butterfly effect person. And I just know that I have now a 6-year-old daughter that wouldn't exist if any of those options went the other way, right? So all of the choices that I made, I'm 100% fine with because if I make any of them differently or if anybody around me makes any choice differently, Harper doesn't exist. So I wouldn't trade her for anything. But yeah,
and don't you think along the way, whether it's the universe or God or Buddha, whatever, or just karma, whatever it is, there's a reason the girl that you were into wasn't into you because that wasn't the right thing,
totally
or the
disagree.
girl went into you. You weren't there because that wasn't supposed to happen.
I don't see, but that's the thing is I don't believe there's a supposed to. I think that's the spiritual side of me, or the lack of spirituality. I think butterfly effect is truly the reason Harper exists is everything that happened before.
Okay.
So some people say, well,
but
then
it
was
happen,
meant to be. It
okay.
wasn't, right. It
and
wasn't meant to be.
You don't like that wording.
No, just because, like, if I had made a different choice, I would have another kid that I loved just as much as her.
Yeah. I'm sure that makes Angie feel really special.
Right, but because I see what you're saying, but no, like, I don't think I'm meant to be with her. I'm just super happy that I ended up with her, if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
But
yeah, that's a tricky one to say. Like, there's one perfect person for everyone.
There definitely is not. No, I think there's one kind of person for everyone.
Sure.
So if you can find somebody that fits that mold perfectly, that's why people are like, this is my soulmate. Well, if you were born in Delaware, you would have found another soulmate. You would have. It wouldn't be the same person.
That's probably the logical way of looking at it. The romantic in me wants to give it a little more weight.
Yeah,
but
it's more fun.
But I
to
don't know
think
that soulmate is as far as I need to go.
It's back to spirituality. It's more of like what's true and what works for you, right? It is way more fun to say, no, this is the one that was, quote, meant for me, right? But in reality, it's just a numbers game, right? There are, let's say, 3.5 billion women, or females at least, on this planet, right? There's no way there's only one for you. That's just not... Otherwise, think about it like this. If there's 3.5 billion women on the planet, the chances that I found the only one that I was capable of being with is mathematically improbable. The chances that she was
in the
born...
United States.
Right.
Yeah.
She grew
in
up
Minnesota.
10 minutes from me, although I didn't know that until we were adults. She grew up 10 minutes from me. No freaking chance that your soulmate... That's why I think
your
high school...
soulmate could be in China or Indonesia.
Or 100%.
Countries that you'll never go to.
You'll never go to.
I understand what you're saying. You're putting a lot of logic into it.
That's kind of how I operate, if you can't tell. I'm almost all
timing is a big
numbers.
Part of it. Because you need to be in the... I want to be monogamous. I want to head down that path. I want to settle down. And if you meet someone that you're into who isn't in that spot, ain't gonna work.
And that was me with the gal that I didn't give a good chance to. We just met at the wrong times in our lives. I wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready for that. Like if the two of us had met 5 years later, I'm very convinced her and I would have ended up together. But we met when we were too young, and we just weren't ready, and we both were disasters, and we just didn't know it. So that was 100% a timing issue. We just, wrong time. And we were both single, so there was no reason why we couldn't. It's just neither one of us was mentally ready for that. I think she was more ready than I was, but she was younger than I was. That was one of my big hang-ups. So she was like 6 years younger than me. And I'm like, man, she's really young. She hasn't like gotten through that college bubble yet, because she was still like a senior in college, a junior or senior in college when I was like 25 or 26. I'm like, that's a different world. I feel like I'm out of that bubble. It was just now of course, Sauce dating a gal 6 years younger than me. I'm like, yes, please. Like, my wife is 5 years younger than me, but I met her when I was 29 and she was 24. Right, not like
she was maturity level.
Right,
she's still ahead of you,
and she had a 4-year-old. Right, so she's forced to
she's
10
years ahead.
She was an adult, right, and she was
Right.
ready to settle down. And I was 29 going, yep, I'm ready for that. At 25, 26, I'm like, you're amazing and you're tons of fun, but I don't know what I want to do yet.
There is a line in a Rascal Flatts song. I know you guys are big fans.
Oh, Sauce, you know that line. What is that line again?
Rascal Flatts.
Yeah.
What song?
He's not listening.
Life
Just
is
go.
a highway.
I
Broken
wasn't
Road.
going to interrupt.
Broken Road.
Broken
yeah. Life is a
Great song.
highway. I want to ride it all night long.
Yeah, that's what.
If
Very
you're going
similar.
my way.
Very similar.
That is, I mean,
What's the line?
You're
Thank you.
bringing a tear to my
Thank
eye.
you.
It was our first dance at our wedding, and the song is "God Bless the Broken Road that led me straight to you,"
Well
which
said.
is exactly what you're talking
Sure.
about. But the lyric is, "Others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms." So it's like the people that you dated in your past, and you tried to make it work, or you thought that was the person, and all along it was, if you could have read the signs then, they were putting you on the path that led to boom. And in my case, Matt.
Yeah, that's the
And it was
romantic
like
way to look
only
at it, for
until
sure.
only when you meet Matt, and then you find, and it's like, I love him so much. And they're like, oh, that's why that relationship didn't work out.
It's worth it, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this was the road I was going down. I didn't even know it, and here he was at the end of it. Like, oh, that's why that happened.
Sure.
Whether you believe it was spiritual or God or
Right.
whatever, or just logic.
Right.
What a great line.
Yeah.
You can only use it though after you've gotten to the happy ending.
Correct. Because otherwise,
So
you're like, this really seems
you'll
to
use
suck.
it in about 2 years, sus. That's
Oh,
what
let's
I
do
feel
an
like.
over-under bet. Are you betting like long-term relationship or marriage, or what are you talking about?
He's
within 2.
he's with the
I'll
person.
never get remarried.
You're never going to get remarried.
Never.
What if
Zero
the,
chance.
But what if the gal that you're going to end up with or have a long-term relationship with has never been married, and that's what she wants? Even though this would be number 2 for you, what if this is
Nah, I'd
her
never get
first
remarried.
marriage?
I'll never.
But
get
you
remarried.
say that as a single
Yeah.
question
I'd
mark
never-
man
yeah.
currently.
Yeah. I'll never get remarried.
But
When you meet this person within the next 2 years,
Yeah.
let's chat again.
Okay.
Yeah, again,
You're
how old are you?
protecting
37?
yourself. I get that.
Yeah.
That's-
You're 37, right?
Yeah.
What if you met a gal that's 28, 29, she's out of that college bubble, no kids, never been married, and she meets you and she's like, this is the one. I want to start a family with Paul. I want to get married. I want a wedding. I want the whole thing. I guarantee you would at least consider
You're
it.
like,
I doubt it.
Because I get it, but
I'll
back
never
to
get
what we've been
married
talking about for 15 minutes. It's what if your path led you to an actual healthy marriage, and the marriage the way
It will.
that you wanted it the first time, the next gal is the right one. Then
Yeah,
you would want to be married, Paul.
1% chance.
Just write a prenup. She ain't taking your Tesla.
No one's taking my Tesla.
I need the Tesla and I need the dog.
You can't have-
you
I'd
ain't
give you
taking
the
my
Tesla
you
over the
ain't
dog.
taking you ain't taking my palatial apartment.
No,
Condo. Yeah.
You can't have anything. No, I'd give you anything over my dog.
What? Just if marriage number 2 goes wrong, just give him a couple of pair of Jordans and send her on her way.
Thanks, Rusted Roof.
Right.
On my way.
Zach, your thoughts? Will Sauce ever get remarried? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think so, too.
If the opportunity arises, he's too, and this is weird to say, but he's too much of a lover. He's
a romantic.
He loves to love, and I think for somebody like him, he's gonna, and when he falls head over heels for whoever the future Mrs. Lambert is, I think it's going to be very tough for him to resist the idea of a marriage and being a husband again.
The one way I think you're right, the one scenario that I can see is if somebody else has been married once or twice and they're like, this just ain't working for me. I don't like this structure. And you go Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn
Yeah,
on it. We're
yeah,
like,
and it works for
you're
both
in
of
it
you.
forever, but you don't ever legally do it.
Sure.
I can see that. I'm saying if you meet a gal that's never been married and that's all she's ever wanted, I think you're going to change your mind. If somebody's on strike 1 or strike 2, then maybe you guys both just say, let's just pair up and not file the paperwork with my dad, right? You just don't get lawyer Lambert involved.
Yeah, maybe.
You're being awful quiet over there.
Yeah, maybe.
You love to love, Sauce.
Yeah, but yeah, nah, I'm good.
Got a gal in the mix right now, or not so much?
You never know. You
Being
never know
quiet
what I'm
about
doing.
it, that means you got one. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you never know what I'm up to.
Yeah, that means you always tell us about chicks, which means if you're not talking about it, that means there's somebody that you don't. Much like I just said that I kept Angie quiet for 3 months. That means you got somebody that's under the wraps that you don't want us to start ragging on or ragging on you
Which
about.
also means he probably likes her.
Right.
That's
Whoa.
right.
Has she ever been married? Is she in her late 20s? Does she want a family? Does she want kids? Uh-oh.
I think we got to go play that game with PA.
All right. Marnie, you're the best. We love you. We'll talk to you next Monday. No, next Wednesday. What do I say Monday for? Next Wednesday.
Hey, must be the money.
Good luck on the cabinets.